Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kieran. I'm a junior doctor and a comedian working in Manchester. As always, if you're new, make sure you're subscribed so you can join the team. I have been trying for a long time to make my desk the perfect desk for working as a doctor and a YouTuber. And you might remember last year that I did a desk setup video. I've been setting up my desk for a while now, but this year I've got loads of new things to share with you guys so you can check out my updated desk, the 2021 version. Let's get into it. Alright, so the highlight of this video has to be the actual desk itself. So the actual desk I've got now is from a company called Ergo Desk. Now, I've been looking at desks from Ergo Desk for a while, and I reached out to them and told them I was going to make a video like this, and so they kindly sent me the desk and a few accessories for free to check out. So that's just a disclaimer before we get into it. This desk from Ergo Desk is a sit to stand desk. It basically does what it sounds like. You can sit and use the computer at your desk, or you can press a button, which I'll show you in a second, lift it to a standing position and use the desk in a standing position. So for someone that's working at home that, you know, is sat for a long period of time, this sort of thing is perfect. The desk that I have in particular is called the Atlas Mini, and it comes in at just over £500. So the ordering and the assembly. The website is really easy to navigate. You've got a choice of all of the different desks that they offer, and the delivery in the UK is free, which really helps because this thing weighs an absolute ton. When you actually go to pick your desk, you get to customize both the top part of the desk and also the bottom part of the desk, so the frame of the desk too. So for the top part of the desk, I went for a walnut finish. So this walnut finish matches my chocolate brown walls that you can see behind me. And then I also went for a black frame, which matches both my monitor, the lights at the top, and also the window frames. Because I ordered so much stuff, it literally came on this massive pallet, all really nicely assembled, ready for me to open. The assembly was pretty straightforward, especially considering all the electronics that are inside the desk. It took pretty much the same amount of time that it would take to assemble a normal desk, so a couple of hours, but the instructions were really clear and it was up in no time. So the aesthetic of the desk is really cool. As I said, I've gone for the wood finish to match the walls, and the dimensions of my desk are 100 centimeters wide and 60 centimeters deep. This might seem like a bit of a small desk, and it is, and that's why I've chosen the mini version of the Atlas desk that they offer. But specifically, the reason that I wanted this one is because you may have seen from my flat tour video that we have a little winter garden made with glass that isn't that big that we use as a study space. So because of that, I wanted something that wasn't going to consume the room, and I wanted a slightly smaller desk. And the height of the desk, as you can imagine, is variable, so it can go from 64 centimeters at the bottom to 130 centimeters at the top. Now let's talk functionality. Obviously this desk goes from seating to standing. There's a little 4-button control panel on the side that you can use as an add-on to the desk. So rather than just having an up and a down setting, you can add this onto your desk, which I have done, to get some preset heights at which your desk can go to. So for example, if I hit number 1, it's going to automatically go to the height that I sit at. If I hit number 2, it's going to automatically go to the height that I stand at if I hold that button. Let me show you. And the desk, as you can see behind me, is starting to elevate. It's just incredibly satisfying, and then it stops at the position that I sit at. But what's the point of having a desk that can go from seating to standing? Well, for me, there's two parts to this. There's the practical side of things and there's the health side of things. On the practical side of things, desks are not always the perfect height, especially if you have a seat that's fixed. You might have a desk that you could be better for you. So it could be a couple of centimeters higher, a couple of centimeters lower. And with this sort of thing, you can play around and get it to exactly the height that you think is going to work for you, and that's going to make you not hunch over while you're working or look up at something that's too high. Another advantage, if you live with another person, you can set the desk to a height that suits them. So for example, when I'm sitting at the desk, I might want it at a certain height, but if Sam wants to use the desk, I can clear the space for her and she can set it to a height that works for her. And then when we're fed up of sitting, we can move it into the standing position, which has health benefits of its own. Now, this isn't medical advice and I'm not going to tell you to go out and you have to buy a standing desk, otherwise you're unhealthy, but I will talk about some of the benefits of standing rather than just sitting. So when you stand, you're automatically using more muscles than you would when you're sitting. You're using your core, you're engaging your quadriceps muscle as well in your thighs, and by doing this, you are then burning more calories. So just by standing, you're burning more calories than by sitting. Cumulative, compounding this over a long period of time, you're burning more calories, you'll be losing more weight, and that's going to help combat things like heart disease and diabetes. The other part to this is that when you sit for long periods of time, blood can potentially pool in your legs, causing blood clots. So by getting up and changing positions and moving around, you may theoretically be able to reduce the risk of this happening. Now we've talked about the desk, let me talk about some of the accessories that I got with the desk from ErgoDesk that make this thing really cool. First off, we've already talked about the 4-button control panel. This is an additional extra that I think is well worth it because you can change the position into a preset height. Next up, we've got an in-desk USB power unit. So in one of those little sockets in the desk, I've stuck something in there that gives me a 3-pin charger, a USB charger, and a USB-C charger. For cable management, this is really cool because I can actually plug a USB-C charger straight into this, so basically into the desk, plug that into my laptop, and it'll start charging. It's a pricey little accessory, but it is something that is really cool. Next up, we have a cable tray which goes underneath the desk. So this is great for cable management. For anyone that has as many things as me on a desk, like my monitor, my laptop, my speakers, my lamp, all of this sort of stuff, if you don't have a tray underneath, wires are just going everywhere. So this tray was a bit fiddly to put on, but once it was on, it fit perfectly, and now all of the cables are basically hidden. We've got 2 sets of what they call Artemis drawers from ErgoDesk. So one of the disadvantages of having a standing desk is that often they don't have storage. So in this case, this desk doesn't have any storage. So for me to put things like my laptop, my cables, my SD cards, my hard drives, I need somewhere to put them. So I've got 2 of these little office cabinets that I can use to store these things in. These cabinets also have a top drawer that is locked. That's really helpful when you're in a city centre apartment, that we can lock things in here, valuable things like passports and money, and they're not going to go astray. Finally, I have got a desk mat as well. So this is actually a mat that you use to stand on, but at the moment I'm actually using it on the desk. The reason for that is because I don't want to get any scratches on the wood before I get a desk mat for the actual desk itself. So at some point when I do get another desk mat, I'm going to stick this underneath.
The other thing is that the customer services from ErgoDesks was fantastic. They replied to every phone call, every email, so I knew exactly when my delivery was coming, and I knew exactly who to turn to if I had any problems.
Other things that you've probably seen on the desk before in other videos are the Apple Magic Keyboard, great because it connects so well to my laptop, and also the Logitech MX Master 3. Now, I only got this mouse recently, and I think probably it was a bit of a waste of money. Like, I had an Amazon Basics ergonomic mouse before this, and between this mouse and that mouse, there's like an £80 difference, and in terms of functionality, it doesn't do that much more. But I've got it now and it's here to stay. We've also got the Bose TV speaker, which is at the back of the desk now. And now finally, because I have a desk that doesn't have a closed back, I'm finally able to put my monitor on a mounting stand. So before, you remember in my old desk setup video that I couldn't do this because there was a closed back, whereas now I can. Because this is a really big monitor, this is an LG 35-inch curved monitor, which I'll link in the description below, I had to get a really heavy duty thing to mount this with. The one I've gone for is the Great gas spring heavyweight monitor, which again I'll link in the description, which I think looks really cool because I've put it slightly to the side of the center of the desk, and by doing that it kind of makes it look like this monitor is floating. Gas powered as well is something I didn't know I needed, but something that is really cool, which is where if I push the monitor down it will float up into position and it's dead easy to move around. And finally, I also have this plant, which I'm really surprised at that it's still alive. I mean, as I said in my house tour video, which you may have seen recently, that This house is basically a graveyard for plants. So I'm pretty proud that this guy's still alive. He deserves a place on the desk still, even though I've forgotten to put him in the back of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Big thanks to ErgoDesk for sending me all of this stuff to check out for this video. Some really high quality stuff that I can't wait to keep using. I will link everything you have seen in the video description. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.
Someone's gotta change.